The ranking member's line of question brings to mind, I think, something that's important that we establish here today, which is that these issues are long-standing, and these issues have been known to the BOP. This information has been accessible to BOP leadership dating back at least 9 years, according to the records that we secured from the Bureau of Prisons. All the way back in 2014, we have internal BOP documents warning about deficiencies in suicide prevention practices, Dr. Ramirez, at the facility. And yet, a full 6 years later, November of 2020, here's something from a suicide investigation, US Penitentiary Atlanta. Quote, past reconstruction teams, the teams that conduct these investigations, this report reads, past reconstruction teams have made many of the same recommendations noted below in this report. The need for attention to detail, adherence to BOP policy, and regard for human life among correctional services staff. Regard for human life among correctional services staff. All right, here's another report, another suicide, about 8 months later. Quote, once again, this reconstruction revealed complacency, indifference, inattentiveness, and lack of compliance with BOP policies and procedures. These lapses contributed to a dangerous and chaotic environment of hopelessness and helplessness, leaving inmates to their own means to improve their quality of life. What does it mean in a prison, Dr. Ramirez, if the correctional services staff, and these are not my words, folks, these are the words of the BOP's own internal investigators, lack a regard for human life?
It makes it impossible for psychology services or even health services to do their job. We are all one team, but certainly custody and correctional services is the backbone of any institution. If they are not doing the minimum, we are then unable to provide the treatment necessary to help improve mental health across the institution. If we can't stop inmates from accessing substances, from engaging in self-harm routinely and having access to various contraband, we cannot provide them mental health services. It makes it impossible, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Ramirez. Ms. Shepard, the impact on the physical health of those incarcerated at this facility, and again, I want to keep emphasizing this, that particularly in your case, we're talking about pre-trial detainees. Let me be clear that there is no excuse for this treatment and abuse of any human being in any facility of the United States government or in the world. When we're talking about pre-trial detainees, we're talking about folks who are being held before or during their cases are being tried. They've not been convicted. They are presumptively innocent. We heard from a federal judge that so depraved are the conditions at US Penitentiary Atlanta that if folks are convicted and sentenced, they depart downward from the sentencing guidelines because they consider incarceration at this facility to be punishment upon punishment. I'd like for you to describe what you've seen in terms of the impact on detainees and inmates' health of lack of access to nutrition, clean water, and so on.
We see this on a regular basis with clients who are detained pretrial at USP Atlanta. Significant changes, not only in physical health, but also in mental health. In terms of physical health, we see, as I described earlier, clients who are losing weight, losing muscle mass, sleep deprived. All of those take a very physical toll on our clients' health, and we see that, and we point that out to the judges to help them understand and explain what these clients are subject to that is different, that is not, it's not what we expect out of federal pretrial detention, and it's not what clients at different federal pretrial detention centers within the district experience. But there's also a significant toll on their mental health. The extreme isolation of being in these lockdown situations, unable to communicate with family members for days on end, And even when they are able to wait in line and make that phone call, there's a line behind them. And so the pressure to keep that communication short, even when they're able to make it, it is, again, these are individuals who are entitled to the presumption of innocence and who our system has taken custody of. This treatment is deplorable, and it bears visible consequences in terms of both physical and mental and emotional health.
And in the land of the free, before you've been convicted of any crime, you can be locked up 23 hours a day without access to food or clean water, without enough time to take a shower, with paper clothes, without enough time to call your family, by the U.S. Department of Justice, without access to counsel. It's a disgrace to the U.S. government. I want to ask you, Ms. Whitehead, for your response to the concluding paragraph from the 2020 security assessment. Again, after years and years of warnings and internal BOP reports about gross deficiencies, misconduct, security lapses, here's how that 2020 security assessment that the subcommittee secured concluded. Quote, US Penitentiary Atlanta presents significant security concern for the Southeast region. Both national and local policies are being violated on a regular basis. The staff at USP Atlanta are quality staff, but without proper leadership, oversight, and accountability fail to follow proper security procedures. USP Atlanta requires immediate corrective action. And we've heard that before in internal audits. The demand by those investigators for action now. What was it like for you and others working in the facility to work in that environment?
When I arrived at Atlanta, my very first day, I sat in my car and I said, what the hell? Where does this happen in the Bureau of Prisons? I know that there are very good staff in Atlanta that want to follow policy, that want to do the right things. However, without that leadership, without being held accountable to follow those policies, it's a disservice to the staff and the inmates and the local community. The report saying that there must be immediate action is correct. However, I'm still waiting on that immediate action. When I was in Atlanta, I didn't see any action to the 2020 report. I didn't see any action to the July 2021 situation other than to move the management staff.
Thank you, Ms. Whitehead. Ranking Member Johnson.